What I've enjoyed about working with the Computer Society is my ability to contribute to what I feel is a very strong profession, and that's software engineering. I sort of fell into computers. I was the person who could figure out how to run the IBM mainframe when no one else could. And from that first job, I got my second real job, or I consider it my first real job, at Pacific Missile Test Center at Point Mugu in California, working in the HWIL, the hardware in the loop lab, because I knew how to work computer systems. But you know, there's one thing being able to run a computer system and the other being able to develop software. So that's really what I've dedicated kind of my career with the Computer Society.
What I've come to know and admire about Kathy is her leadership quality. She's someone who is very passionate about the work she does. She cares really deeply about the society, and yet she's inclusive. So she allows different perspectives to come into the room and encourages that, and yet at the same time, when a hard decision needs to be made, she makes it.
I've worked in standards, the software engineering standards that the Computer Society develops. I've written some books that marry the software engineering standards body with several process models, the CMMI, Lean Six Sigma, ISO 9000. So basically, you know, an engineering process in my mind is an engineering process, but how you marry software with that process is what I try to show others how to do, so that you can, you know, promise your customer that you're going to deliver quality software. And that's really basically what software engineering is, how to deliver quality software. What I'm continually surprised by is how innovative the Computer Society is. It's the largest society in IEEE, but it continues to be one of the most innovative. And I think that's a good way to be surprised by how innovative they continue to be, and I'm continually surprised by the intellect and the openness I see in the Computer Society. I think one of our big challenges today is STEM, getting younger people in science and science, technology, engineering, math. We somehow have not managed to. We continue to lag, and I'm talking about in the U.S. We continue to lag in that area, particularly with women and minorities. To me, as a woman, if you want to go into a field where there's an equal playing field, where you're judged on your intellect and not your gender or the color of your skin, then go into engineering. When I started, I was one of 2 women on base at Point Mugu. And I tell a funny story when I'm asked to speak to women's groups occasionally. So my second day at work, had to do these mimeograph copies to make copies, and we had the original Sperry's, you know, limited DoD email, that kind of thing. So I'm in the copy room and I'm making copies of my paperwork, you know, because I'd just been hired, and this guy comes in, this engineer, you know, gray beard guy, and he throws his papers at me and he goes, "I need these by tomorrow, and I need, you know, for a very important meeting, I need 5 copies of each, and put them in my box." And he was really rude, and he didn't ask me, you know, he assumed I was a secretary and didn't give me a chance to speak. So I just kind of looked at the papers, and you know, I'd kind of had it at that point, you know. I'd done my time as a clerk, and I'd done my time as, you know, through college. I made the copies, but I jacked up the copier, and I made the copies all backwards, forwards, you know, they were really messed up. And then I jammed them in his box, and then I left for the day. And I came in the next morning, and he was in my boss's office, just raising Cain. And you know, kudos to my boss, because he goes, "Well, what made you think she was a secretary? She's the new, you know, engineer on staff. And did you not ask her? You know, what made you think you could demand that she make copies for you?"
One of her claims of fame is she brought in 2 new standards committees. One of them was looking at physical and software agents that would automatically do work, take the work of humans to do, and that was a growing field. And the second one was a marvelous opportunity to institutionalize, standardize the United States Department for Environmental assessments of products, and we started off with laptops.
So next year I'm Vice President for Technical Activities for TAB. I mean, I never in a million years, when I started with IEEE, I thought, wow, just to go speak at a conference, what a great, to have a paper accepted, what a huge honor. And I still think that way. What a huge honor every time I'm at a meeting, just to be surrounded by the caliber of people.
Please welcome this year's recipient of the Richard E. Merwin Award for Distinguished Service, Kathy Lamb.
The most powerful thing you can do, because I thought about this, what's made me successful, or I think I have pretty strong relationships with people, particularly, at work, but particularly in IEEE. And how come? And I think it's because I try to build trust. And so how? And so, and I actually sort of have this written on a notepad in my office, but so if I go into a meeting or something, I always try to have people understand my motivation, that where I'm coming from. And my motivations are not self-motivations, but I'm trying to motivate for the greater body. I'm not motivated for Joe Smith over here or for this. I'm not lobbying for any group or for myself, but let's try to do for the collective. There are a lot of really smart people here. I see a lot of young people that come up, or young professionals, and they're all full of themselves. A little pride goes a long way. A little humility goes a long way. Throughout these past years, the Computer Society has effectively made me the individual I am today. To me, the Computer Society is more than just an organization. It is a part of me. Everyone defines themselves differently. The Computer Society has helped me to discover my own identity and my own definition of who I am. I'm extremely grateful for this recognition, and I feel like I'm receiving an award for something that has been a privilege. The very definition of being a volunteer means that you are offering something that is not required, that you are doing something without the expectation of personal return. So when I received this award, it was an odd experience. I got the email and I was very honored, but I thought, this is really odd. I'm receiving something from which I have already received so much. If there's one message I want to send today, it's that I feel so personally thankful for having had the privilege of serving and supporting the IEEE Computer Society.